Let's go to Claudia Cowan, who is also on the scene. And Claudia, give us an update as to what you're seeing there.
I would agree with everything that Jose just said. You can see the protesters behind me, and now they're starting to walk this way with their drums and their bullhorns. And you can also see the protesters have hung up a banner on that overpass saying, "Dump, dump Trump." It's not clear whether they have been able to get inside the hotel. I don't think they have. I think they're just pretty much just staging this protest right out here between the parking lot and the hotel. But the protest that started on the street in front of the hotel has now completely moved inside the perimeter here. We saw earlier that the group had broken down some barricades that had been set up, and now police have really moved to fortify security in front of the front doors of this hotel. We still have a large protest. Perhaps we can swing around and show you in the middle of the street here across from the hotel. Just a lot of people standing there with their flags and their signs saying "Dump Trump" and "Stop Hate" and "California won't be trumped," so forth. We actually have a group here that are semi-nude in front here. So we're seeing protesters of all stripes and coming from all different viewpoints here. This group demanding equality. So we're seeing a lot of different protesters, Greg. Obviously, the big thrust here is to criticize Donald Trump's immigration policy. And things seem to have actually kind of settled down a little bit right now. It's not as loud as it was, just a lot of people kind of milling around. But back under the overpass, we're seeing the flags, we're seeing the signs. And now we're just going to wait and see, what this group decides to do next, where they decide to move to next, and what the police response will be.
Yeah, it seems as though, the tempers that flared near the top of the hour 40 minutes ago have abated just a bit.
They seem to have simmered down.
Yeah.
Just a bit. I would agree. Things are not as heated.
Right. I mean, it looked dangerous just before we went on the air 40 minutes ago when a group of protesters, a very large group, literally broke through the line, jumped over the hedge, went through the front circle area adjacent to the entrance of the hotel, and it looked like they were just going to ram their way through the front doors of that hotel. And then the next thing that we saw was a group of police in riot gear that very quickly moved in and pushed them back. Some of the protesters falling to the ground. I wouldn't say they got trampled, but they were scrambling about. But I did not, and there was a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving. I didn't see any fists being swung. And then there was the moment, Claudia, as you were standing there, and when we first went to you, and they were pulling down the barricades that were right next to you.
That's right, and right now, Greg, it looks like the group that was on the overpass by the parking structure, they're gone now, and now the group is leaving this area here and going back toward the front of the hotel. So perhaps this group is trying to really make a show of force right as Mr. Trump is set to speak. So they're moving around now, coming toward us, going back toward the front doors of the hotel. And I think they're just moving back and forth to try to, have that show of presence that they want to be heard. They want to be heard by all the delegates here. They want to be heard by Donald Trump. And police are blocking that front door and making sure that nobody else gets inside because, again, earlier there was evidence that some of these protesters did get inside. They unfurled a banner that said "Stop Hate," and that banner was quickly taken down. So we have seen some of these protesters gain access, and hundreds of police officers, as you said, many in riot gear, making sure that the area is secure and that nobody else gets inside. But you can see now this area that had been filled with protesters just moments ago, pretty much emptied, as the whole group has now moved to the left and to the front of the hotel.